Elias Cepeda here from Extra Rounds Podcast, here with Valentina Shevchenko, who's fighting at UFC on Fox 20 this Saturday. Not only are you fighting, you're fighting in the main event against Holm, former world champion. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoy to staying here in Chicago, and I'm feeling very good, enjoying the weather, enjoying everything.
Came from Houston. I'm sure it was much hotter in Houston, so it's a little cooler here. I'm sure it's a nice relief for you.
Yes, it's pretty nice weather over here, and we spend in like different time near the lake already.
That's great. It's a good breeze. So off camera, we were talking a little bit, and I asked you about a little bit about your training camp and about your coach Pavel and how he's doing. For those that don't know, I believe it was in May. You guys were involved in a pretty horrific sounding accident, not accident, but a shootout really, and your coach Pavel was shot and wounded, and you were there for that. I can't imagine what that felt like, and I can't imagine how hard it must have been to jump into a training camp since then. But first, how is your coach recovering? I know you said he's here with you in Chicago, which is great, so he must be doing okay. Is he recovering pretty well?
He's now feeling better. He's recovering every day, and I'm really happy that he's able to do this trip with me and be nearby me, because for me it's important, really important.
Psychologically, it's important to have the people around you on fight week, I imagine, that you trust and have been with you for
For sure. Pavel, he is like my coach during all my life. More than 20 years I'm training with him, so it's very important for me to have him.
And how much work, if any, were you able to get in with him during this training camp, considering his injuries and stuff? Were you able to do much work with him, physical work?
Physical work, not every time it's useful, but mental work it is. So every time, every single moment he was nearby me, saying the different advances. So it's I was feeling his energy, and every time he was correct my training camp how to do it better, and it was different, but the best that we can do.
No, I'm sure it made a big difference. Earlier during the live chat on Facebook, you were talking about how much you all love Peru, and when you decided to move there about 8 years ago, your sister, yourself, and your coach Pavel. Has that shooting, has that made it more of a conflict for you in your head? Has it made you think differently about Lima in any way? Has it been tough to deal with? A city you love, having that happen?
I love Peru. It's a very beautiful country. It's very good people. But I think around the world we have, and every country have bad peoples, but every time we have good peoples. And good peoples in Peru, it's much more than bad peoples. And so it's all that feelings that I have about Peru, it doesn't change, because one situation, it was very hard situation, but still I love Peru.
One of the things we were talking about earlier as well was your kickboxing career, taekwondo training, your Muay Thai career and training, and your mixed martial arts career and training. So I didn't realize you had started training and competing in mixed martial arts much further back than I realized, which is really cool. It explains why you've done so well, at the top levels. So again, for everyone here, when did you actually start mixing up your training and not just doing striking, but wrestling and jiu-jitsu? How long ago was that?
It was every time like natural. When I had 5 years old, I started from taekwondo, and then Pavel, he every time did like different kind of training. It was totally natural, this transition. I didn't realize that we had. It was for me normal.
That's the way you all trained.
Sure. And when I was child, it was like doing this, doing that. But when I growing up, it was I know already did it. So it was not when we adults we feeling this difference of changing. For me, it was not like this because it was already inside me.
That's interesting. It sounds kind of like learning a language. They say it's easier to learn a language when you're young as opposed to when you're an adult. So you started learning the language of mixed martial arts early. You know, when I talk to great strikers who have also then gone on to MMA, a lot of times we talk about the technique and the adjustments they have to make. Like sometimes they've told me, okay, well, I know I got to lower my stance because I don't want my hips to be taken out from under me with wrestlers and things like that. Once you went pro and started fighting in mixed martial arts, were there a lot of adjustments, or had you already kind of made those adjustments in sparring earlier?
For sure, I have to do every time adjustments, because I compete not only in one kind of martial art. I compete every time. I was competing in Muay Thai, in K1, in kickboxing, in MMA. It's all fights, it's different, have different character, and every time before the fight we have like training camp, especially preparation of rules of this the sport. And for sure, if I fight in Muay Thai, I cannot fight the same manner like in MMA. If I fight in kickboxing, I can do it the same manner like in Muay Thai, because every time it's totally different. For sure, I need to be especially like focused on that what I go and what I want.
Makes sense. So you're able to do all of it, we know that. Is there one style, any type of martial arts style, that you enjoy the most? Any set of rules that you enjoy the most?
I like martial arts complete. I like all together. Every kind of sport it's have their own magic, and I like it all together. For me, it's the best.
Did you, when you started training, when you started even your first MMA fights, did you ever imagine that women would finally start to get the opportunities that they're getting in MMA? They're not enough, but more than they were a long time ago. Again, you guys are headlining a card that's on national television. Did you imagine it would get to this point?
I was doing, every time I was doing my job. I was doing not because I was demonstrate for somebody something, no, because I love this. I love martial arts. I'm very happy that my family has this tradition, because my mom, she is also sportsman. She is third dan black belt of Taekwondo, and she is president of Kyrgyz Muay Thai Federation. So it's for our family, it's more than just a sport. It's our family tradition. And I every time did it because I have very big passion of martial arts. For sure, seeing this kind what's happened now in the world of like women's world of martial arts, I'm very happy because of it. To be main event on this such big organization like UFC, it's I don't speak. I don't have to speak nothing, because this is what we can see. It's already said everything.
Does your mother ever discuss the fights with you and give you tips and advice? A lot of people may know that Ronda Rousey's mom was also in judo, and she seems very involved with her, and they go over the fights and technique. Do you and your mom ever talk about the fights in that way?
For sure, she's professional. She know a lot of. She have different students. She also trainer. But in my case, she put me in the school of Pavel Fedotov, of my coach, and he said, this is your coach, and I trust you to him, because it's difficult to control these feelings of mom and daughter. She is every time more, I think, explosive, something like that, and Pavel, his coach. He's coach, very calm, he know what to do. So she said, okay, this is the coach, I'm your mom, this is it.
Was there a moment that you can remember in training or in a fight where you finally felt confident that I can reach the same levels in MMA that I did in kickboxing?
I never like did something like this, that in this moment I can say exactly that I felt it. No, I just doing all my best, and I think this is like helped me to grow every time and to be one of the good fighters around the world. So for me, not enough just to go to the fight and just participate, because I really I hear a lot from different fighters that okay, have fun, enjoy your time, but for me it's never enough just to be here. No, I want something more, and I every time pushing me to the limits to be the best, and this is what helped me every time to go to the fight and win the fight, because I'm training hard every time. I really concentrate on the fight. This moment for me most important. It's good that we have everything before the fight here, but the one thing that really important, it's the victory of the fight.
Speaking of this fight with Holm, obviously you're not going to give away your tactics and your strategy, but generally, Valentina, how would you compare your striking style to hers? She also kickboxed for a bit, but she reached a very high level in professional boxing as a world champion. You did amazing things in Muay Thai and kickboxing. For the fans that have been hearing about these two great strikers meeting in MMA, how would you describe your style and her style if you had to?
I think just only one that we can describe it or say something about this. It's in the moment of the fight, and we could see everything in that moment.
Last questions for you here. So your last fight obviously didn't go the way you wanted. You lost a close fight, a close decision to Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes just recently became the world champion in your division. Did that feel good in a sense, because the person that beat you, everyone now realizes is the best or the number one, or was it hard kind of to see like, I came close and now she's the champion?
Amanda, she's good fighter, good striker, good grappling. She did her job. She won the belt. So every time something happened for some reasons, and it's good. It's not bad. It's not good. It's that already happened. I know exactly I will go forward every time, doing me better and better, and I still will have my chance to fight for the belt, but I really focused, really very concentrate on this fight in Saturday, because I don't want to think about what it could be after. I don't want to think about this, nothing, because really that important for me right now is the fight against Holm this Saturday, 23 of July.
Last question for you. You're obviously very humble, and that's a great trait to have in a champion. What would you say, if you had to characterize your style, what you bring, the difference between you and your opponents, how would you describe yourself as a fighter? What makes you you as a fighter?
I think on the fight, I every time go to the end. I don't like to break me. No, every time I go to the end, and it doesn't matter who is in front of me, because in the ring we are all the same. We are all humans. We have two arms, two legs, one head, and we are all the same. Outside of the ring, of the octagon, people make us more famous or not, like something like this, but in the ring we're all the same. It's all depend of our preparation, our sincere preparation for the fight, and this is what make one fighter real fighter, and gives this difference between other fighter. If you start to believe in your famous things and you put it to the octagon, it doesn't help. It doesn't help for anyone. You have your way. You have to train like you did it in the starting, like in this moment, and this is help. This is really help, and I'm very glad that I have my team, my coach Pavel Fedotov, my sister Antonina, my manager Roger Allen, Pedro Caballero, and I think every time when I feel something like I'm good, I'm here, something like this, my coach Pavel, he said, easy. This is a fight. You will fight there. You show your character over there, and everybody will know you. So now, very calm. Go and show it over there.
We're about to see once again what Valentina Shevchenko can do this Saturday in the main event of UFC on Fox 20 from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you so much for being with the Extra Rounds podcast. We've got the first full episode of the Extra Round podcast with Mike Dice and myself on Monday, 2 p.m. Central, July 25th. Valentina, thank you so much and the best
Thank
of luck
you,
to
Elias.
you.